Good morning! I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Happy Wednesday, Hump Day. It's the middle of the week, transition to the later half of the week. Bago mag
Friday.
weekend.
Oy.
Na inabangan ng lahat. Oy, what
of course,
is
it's
today?
Wednesday today.
Last week, kasi last time wala sila, it's because nagkaroon ng, of course, ng bagyo, yung baha. So hindi nakapag-deliver. Everyone was stranded kasi.
Yes.
But this time, nagbabalik ang Second Mile Coffee with their ultra mega humongous cream puff.
Grabe naman, napakalaki.
Hindi, ngayon lang ako nakita na cream puff na sulit na
Siksik talaga.
siksik talagang sulit
Na-miss
na
ko
sulit.
yan. Alam mo naman yan ang ating energy,
Yan
ang ating fuel
alam mo,
pag Wednesday.
tulad ng brunch, di ba? Brunch siksik din eh.
Marami tayong mga
punong-puno ng
pag-uusapan.
laman.
Of course, yung ating weather, laging may mga nagtatanong dyan. Meron doon namamataan na tatlong low pressure area, pero baka hindi naman maging bagyo. Pero hahatakin ito ng habagat, kaya magkakaroon ng mga pag-ulan sa different areas natin. Mostly sa may, naging na ako, weather forecaster.
And of course, pati rin na mga viral na tulad ni EJ Obiena. Kaya yon? Okay, we're serving you news and a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch. Our 8th spot is the price of rice. Rice inflation remains to be the main contributor to overall food inflation. The national inflation rate in July increased to 4.4%. The Philippine Statistics Authorities, or PSA, said 1.6% of this figure came from rice. Here's the report.
Prices of goods rose at a faster pace last month. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority show inflation at 4.4% in July. While this is lower than July 2023's rate of 4.7%, last month's inflation is so far the highest this year. The PSA is attributing the quicker rise in prices to more expensive utilities, including power and fuel.
We expected that kasi nag-adjust yung Meralco rates, di ba? Nung July. So talagang doon tayo may malaki ang contribution sa inflation.
Consumers are definitely feeling the pinch. Gladys is constantly looking for ways to cut down on power consumption, especially since her bill last month was almost 6,000 pesos. Gladys's household has 3 refrigerators, which are essential to her sari-sari store.
Medyo lumamig-lamig naman, mas madalas tayo ngayon maulan, so kaya ganun, pinapatay na lang muna aircon para medyo makatipid-tipid muna kahit konti.
But it's not only her electric bill that Gladys has to think about. Prices of food are also up. For one, rice became cheaper by only 11 to 20 centavos in July compared to June. But the PSA is expecting the price of the staple to go down this month.
Reduction sa tariff ay magsisimula ng bumaba. So may posible na substantial yung i-reduce sa presyo ng bigas itong August.
The Agriculture Department agrees. Since tariffs were lowered, at least 101,000 metric tons of rice have come in from overseas. As for the prices of vegetables, looks like these too will shoot up following the impact of the combined super typhoon Karina and Habagat. According to the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, the government is, quote, relentlessly working to address the nation's most pressing concern of ensuring food security amid inflation and the onset of La Nina this month. Initiatives include the Rice for All program, where consumers can buy from select Kadiwa sites well-milled rice at 45 pesos a kilo. The DA is also allocating 500 million pesos to farmers as subsidy to cushion rising prices of fuel. For Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, the steep inflation is only temporary. He is expecting the impact of government interventions such as reduced tariffs to kick in anytime now. He also expects the blanket ban on pogos, as declared by President Marcos during his SONA, to help temper rental prices. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
Pero yun nga, yung EO62, naalala mo ba yun? Yung pag-cut ng cut ng tariff ng imported rice and other agricultural products from 35% to 15%. Hindi naman daw yun ngayon nakaka-apekto pa sa mga presyo ng bigas dahil yun nga yung mataas ngayon. So yung ginawa nilang yun, hindi pa natin nararamdaman. Kailan kaya?
Wag na.
Pataas ng pataas, 'di ba? Hanggang
Wag na
ngayon 50 pesos
po.
na 50 pesos pa rin yung pinakamababa na commercial rice, 'di ba? Well milled rice eh. Tapos, ayan, magpapasok ka na talagang ang dami na naman mga matataas na bilihin. At ang talagang affected ngayon, yung poorest of the poor. 'Di ba? Kasi sila talaga yung naapektuhan nito eh. From July to 5.8% nung July. From nung June, 5.5%.
Daming nagugutom.
Totoo. Alright, coming up. One lawmaker wants to utilize earnings from cockfighting to boost state revenue following the pogo ban.
And former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque and others are now under the Immigration Lookout Bulletin.
We're just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Yun nga po, happy Wednesday sa lahat. And of course, gusto lang natin batiin yung ating mga regular viewers. Kasama na po dyan si Gary Ko, hindi po Gary niya, but Gary Ko. Oscar N. Mark Santiago.
Corny.
Of course, Tita Daisy and Tito Naldi Cancio. Sabi niya, we keep the torch for you, EJ Obiena.
Ito, si Sam Pokemon Go, pahagis daw ng isang cream puff.
Pwede ba?
Baka tumama sa camera.
Malaki siya actually, oh. Actually, may gold din tayo. Hindi lang si Carlos Yulo ang may gold. May gold din tayo from Second Mile Coffee. Anong tawag dito, Jegs? Di ba chef ka? Anong tawag dito?
Gold flakes.
Gold flake.
Baka naman
Pero walang lasa.
pwede kami mahagisan ng 10 million din. Kasi may gold naman tayo. Hoy, tsaka happy Cream Puff Wednesday daw, sabi ni Ralph Domingo.
Yon, si Sam Pokemon Go, si Alex Fuentes, si Jerry Young is also watching right now.
Jerry, good morning.
Si Mark Joseph Kasidsid, yan na.
Jerry Young of the Chancellor family.
Of
Chancellor
course.
1000.
Si Mina Benales and the rest of our Jessie Mendez family. And si Juan Miguel Ebron. Laging nanonood din sa atin. Ikaw na.
Okay. Domingo pa. Alright.
Sorry, excuse me. Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Going straight now to our top 7, authorities vow to provide financial support to fishermen affected by oil spill. Over 30 members of the fisher folk are set to receive aid as agreed upon with the ship owners. Officials say they would get around 350 pesos per day until consumer confidence goes back. The Coast Guard earlier said that the oil spills from 3 sunken ships in Bataan are now under control.
It's about confidence now. Nawala na yung oil sheen, nag-dissipate na. But the confidence in the market is still very low. So walang bumibili na isda.
So 31,000 fisher folk are, compensated nga. Sabi nga dito, 350 muna.
Pesos per day.
Oo. Yun ang nga sinasabi nila. And of course, yung dun sa Mirola, yung isa na
Abandoned ship na supposedly baka illegal cargo ang illegal cargo dinadala nila.
Exactly. Parang nung una nakikipag-cooperate pa yung may-ari, pero parang nag-stop na daw makipag-cooperate sa PCG.
Nawala ulit.
Or coordinate.
Di ba nung una kasi hindi ang pakita?
Alam na nila kasi kung sino. Tapos ngayon daw nag-stop na nga daw makipag-cooperate. So there apparently may guidelines na 3 beses na magpapadala ng letter dun sa may-ari. Naka-isang beses ng PCG, pangalawa baka within this week. Pag pangatlo at hindi pa rin sila sumagot, kukunin na yun ng PCG at yun yung magiging parang bayad nila dun sa nangyaring aksidente doon. 'Di ba? Kukunin na nila yung ship doon. Kasi may mga usapin din, they have to look deeper into this dun sa usapin ng oil smuggling.
Yeah,
'Di ba? Kasi this is not the first time na nangyari ito doon sa Mirola, yung kumpanya na yan. O yung ship na yan.
May nahanap sila sa different parts of not only Metro Manila, sa farther Luzon.
Yes.
Na nagbebenta ng fuel na nakagarapon. I remember a few years back nagkaroon ng issue, nagbebenta sila ng gas sa garapon na nahuli, na raid na noon, 'di ba? Na inaalam daw nila sa nanggagaling ito. At saka hindi nila alam kung safe ito. So we have to take a look at issues like that.
Totoo. Tsaka kung itong Mirola na to, na huli na before, bakit, 'di ba? Bakit na
naglayag siya ulit?
Oo. Although yun nga, tumakas nga daw siya sa PCG. So they have to look into that para mas makita natin kung saan nagkukulang, 'di ba? Maimbestigahan. At of course, yung accountability, lagi naman natin sinasabi yan. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
Clocking in at the 6th spot is the ongoing conflict in Bangladesh. The Philippines has called for a peaceful and orderly transition of power in Bangladesh after its longest-serving prime minister fled the country. Violent riots occurred in Bangladesh before its prime minister Sheikh Hasina escaped to India. The Department of Foreign Affairs said it is closely monitoring the situation in Bangladesh. They previously placed Bangladesh under alert level 1 to warn Filipinos about the deteriorating security situation there. Around 700 Filipinos are currently living and working in Bangladesh.
Kaya nga maraming ilan yung Filipino dyan?
700 plus.
700.
700 plus.
Kasi ito nga, i-cancel na nila yan, yung quota system na yan, pero binalik noong 2018. Kaya nagkaroon ulit ng mga protests within their citizens dyan. Kaya sinasabi nila, kasi yung quota system, diba, alam mo, yung sa government nila, ayaw nila kasi nga, ang tawag dito, napaprioritize yung sa party, sa political party, etc. So, ngayon, what's next for them? Diba, they're going to form an interim government. Pero, syempre, on the other side of the fence, ano yung mga sinasabi ng mga citizen dyan na baka naman may pag-asa na mabago. Diba, yung nangyayari dyan because baka magkaroon na ng participation ng iba pa. Especially yung mga younger ones.
But they mean participation? Sino mag-participate?
Participation in the government.
Okay. All right. Next.
Going now to our 5th spot, Philippine authorities have observed Chinese military structures inside the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, saw the military structures like airstrips and harbors for warship in an artificial island in Subi or Zamora Reef. It is just 12 nautical miles from Pag-asa Island. Numerous Filipino ships were already deployed in our EEZ to monitor possible reclamation projects by China. This includes BRP Teresa Magbanwa, which has been stationed in Escoda or Sabina Shoal for 4 months. The Philippine Navy ensured that no standoff is happening between Philippine and Chinese vessels in the West Philippine Sea.
We're watching them, they're watching us. We have increased presence in Sabina Shoal or Escoda just to ensure that there is no man-made activity to pile up crushed corals on the shoal.
Well, to make sure there's no man-made activity, may na-reclaim na nga sa ibang parte.
Oo,
so,
doon sa may
what are we
Subi.
talking about?
Oo, napakalaki.
Look at
diba?
that.
Ilang hectares daw yun?
Parang it looks similar to parang yung Eastwood properties, di ba? That Eastwood has buildings like that.
Oo,
Saka,
may structures, airstrips, storage facilities Tapos itong mga storage facilities dito could be facilities, storage facilities for weapons and fuel.
Look at that property. It's very massive. Ngayon, a property that massive for sure is housing a lot of members maybe of the Chinese militia or the Chinese or the PLA. And you also need, yung sinasabi mo nga na sinlaki ng Quezon City na piping.
Oo.
Definitely kasi a structure that big needs also piping underneath it for sanitation. Aside from that, if that is reclaimed, usually the piping also takes out the water from the, kasi minsan nag-elevate sa reclaimed area,
Right.
water elevates. So you need a piping system na parang nang-dredge siya, that sucks the water out back into the other side of the sea. Kundi, what will happen is like what happens sa Venice Canal, yung Venice sa Italy.
Sa Italy.
Oo, because yung pagka-reclaim ng area hindi proper, naglulubog lagi yung cities. Kaya hinayaan na nila. But
Napakahaba.
look at this. The airstrip is massive daw. Supposedly longer than the airstrip the runway na iya.
Oo. And ang reclamation activity na ito ay ginawa since 2013. Diba?
Looks like a whole
Nagsimula
city.
yan. So beside its activities sa may Subi Reef, meron din mga large military structures sa may Mischief Reef, sa may Panganiban, saka sa Mabini, and of course yung mga smaller structures pa in other
Isipin mo, they're
areas.
able to build structures that massive and that big, pero tayo,
Ay,
para sa BRP Sierra
Sierra Madre
Madre,
natin.
napuputulan ng daliri yung mga miyembro ng
Magbibigay
Navy
pa lang ng
natin.
pagkain yun,
Magbibigay lang ng pagkain, di ba? So, I hope naman na aside from what we're doing right now, we have a long-term solution to this, di ba? Dahil hindi man pwedeng laging pakiusap or meeting na
Totoo.
FYI, I'm passing by in my own house kind of deal, di ba? I don't know anong pinag-usapan nila.
Well, ang
pero
sinasabi nila, one way forward is just, bring this to the international community. Ganun pa rin.
Well, I think that's why we are now talking to different nations and continents like Australia, you have Japan, and Germany.
Recently.
We're trying to build a base of partners na hopefully we can develop military partnerships, also economic partnerships. Because when we get a certain number that will give us enough leverage, balik tayo sa negotiating table.
Oo. Kaya lang yun nga, lagi ko nga sinasabi dito pag nag-uusap tayo, ang China, ang kanilang narrative would always be bilateral consultation. Ayaw nila ng
Because
other,
they know... Hindi, I'm saying we can do
other
bilateral
countries.
consultation, but China, I'm saying kasi if we have partners, China will know, teka lang, nag-commit na ang Germany, nag-commit na ang Australia, Japan at US dito. 4 na silang nagko-commit. Let's talk to the Philippines with a little respect. Kasi tayo, talaga may respect tayo sa China when we talk to them because we know superpower ang army nila.
Oh.
Diba? And their economy is also a booming economy, diba? So, syempre, we're not at a position of negotiating, to negotiate properly.
At saka importante rin malaman din natin yung iba pang kung meron mang gustong sabihin, yung other claimants dyan. Diba?
Yeah.
Dyan sa area na yan. Because as of now, yung mga claimants, wala din mga iba pang mga
Wala.
sinasabi. Diba? Yun ang gusto natin din malaman. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
Coming in at our 4th spot, an Okta research survey shows that more Filipinos are now pro-Marcos. According to the survey, the number of pro-Marcos Filipinos climbed to 36% from 31% in March. Those who identify themselves as pro-Duterte dropped to 16% from 20% in the last survey. On the other hand, some 31% said they are independent, while only 5% support the opposition. Okta's Guido David told 1PHS sa Totoo Lang that Filipinos generally favor stability. He added that the choice of 2025 bets whether to side with Marcos or Duterte will affect their candidacy.
It has an impact on the winnability of certain candidates. Ngayon, may mga certain candidates kaya nilang dalhin even without the backing kasi malakas sila inherently. May mga local candidates na ganyan. But some of them lalo na pag medyo close yung labanan. I mean, deciding which way to lean could be crucial sa kanilang future as a politician.
Actually, yung strength ng Duterte bloc, three factors daw yan. The first factor is, first of course and foremost, yung Southern Bloc or Mindanao Bloc supported him during the presidential election because, di ba, wala pang Mindanaoan president at that time. Yung second factor, bakit malakas si Duterte nun, was his staunch opposition against the drug war, which was, at that time, wala pang candidate na masyadong nag-focus sa ganon, to try to eradicate drugs head-on. And yung third factor na nag-increase sa block ni Duterte, when he had a mandate, when he won, I think 17 to 18 million lang,
Right.
not as high as PBBM. But when former President Duterte proclaimed Marcos or paved the way for Ferdinand Marcos Sr. to be a hero, yung mga Marcos, the Northern Bloc or the Marcos Bloc, they all gathered support behind President Duterte. So, nung nagkaroon ng eleksyon, yung Marcos voters, nag-combine ng Duterte and Marcos.
Right.
So, ngayon, na nag-aaway sila, you take away that side from the Duterte bloc, they all migrated to Marcos. So, you're leaving President Duterte faction with roughly around 15 million loyalists. So, that means, at this point, if VP Sara daw were to run for president, more or less, yun ang foundation niya. 10 to 15 million, while PBBM has majority of it. Kasi madaming sumuporta because ginawang hero si Ferdinand Marcos.
Yes, oo. So yung ano dyan, makikita mo din kasi doon sa sinabi kanina doon sa report na-interview kasi ng Storycon si Professor Ranjit. Sinabi din niya, you will see na yung decline ng supporters of mga pro-Duterte, mostly, of course, not in Mindanao, but Visayas and Luzon, which is yung sinabi.
Yes.
Tapos, ang ano dyan, ang nakikita mo naman, dun sa pro-opposition, 5% lang. Hindi sila nakikinabang doon sa mga decline ng mga pag-alis doon sa mga pro-Duterte.
Itong pro-opposition, I think this is
ano daw yan? Yun yung mga
the true opposition.
Traditional, yung mga liberal party.
Liberal party, which is very critical kung sino makakuha nito.
Pero makikita mo, 31% yung independent. Malaking porsyento yan. Hanggang ngayon, ay, kumbaga, sa isip nila, ayoko both, 'di ba? May sarili akong pag-iisip. Pero those 31%, kailangan mag-isip na yan by midterm elections.
You know what, sa independent na yan kasi, yung maganda sa independent na yan, most of them, they're looking at, they're taking a look at the opposition. And the reason why they're still independent is because they are torn between pro-Marcos daw, supposedly, and pro-opposition, because the opposition and pro-Marcos faction, and Marcos faction, they are very similar in policies.
Yes,
so parang
foreign
it's just
policy.
Yon. So it's just a matter at this point for the yung mga independent. It's just a matter of ano yung politics involved in this. So, yan ang titingnan nila.
Kaya nga malaking porsyento yan. So ngayon, 10 punta, yung independent na yan.
31%, that is very
pagdating
big.
ng midterm elections.
Whoever gets even just less than half of it, plus makuha
Kasi
mo yung...
those independent na nakalagay na 31%, they have to decide. 'Di ba? Kung sino iboboto
Sabi nga nila yung independent na yan, kumuha ka lang ng 10% dyan maagaw lang ng opposition, nasa 15% ni sila. Si President Duterte is at 16.
Ngayon,
Dikit-dikit
ano
sila.
yung, ang tanong din dyan, anong factors? Diba? Ano yung mga factors na nag-affect doon sa pagkalas ng mga pro-Duterte before? Diba? Kasi naging 16% siya siyempre, ano ba yan? Yung away nila. Diba? Yung paulit-ulit nilang away, yung tungkol sa drugs, diba? Pag-accuse kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, tapos yung pag-alis ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa cabinet.
I think yung mga moonlighting na yung Marcos Duterte na moonlighters, yung tinatawag hindi pa sure. I think most of them left Duterte, finally went to PBBM also because siguro yung sa issue ni Kibuloy na may support for Kibuloy who is not facing charges is is a fugitive. Diba? So medyo may distaste sa panlasa ng mga ibang supporters. So they went with PBBM side already. A few of the factors that they are looking at.
Marami yan.
Madami yan.
Oo, kaya yung sinasabi natin, importante yung
pero mahaba
independent na yan, kung magsasway ba sila.
Matagal pa ang labanan. Pero ang titignan muna natin yung itong upcoming midterms will make a lot of difference.
Check mo kung ano yung mga alliances that will,
Uniteam.
Diba?
Bagong Uniteam ba?
Tignan natin yan. But, of course, marami pa tayo pag-uusapan.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. May 3 pa tayo. Stay with us.
Sanay ako 2, 3 pa pala.
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy Wednesday. And thank you again, Second Mile Coffee, for the wonderful and sumptuous cream puffs and the strong and powerful coffee. Ala, Nesty Potesio ang BAM!
Talaga ba? Pero yesterday, naalala mo, meron tayo pinag-uusapan dito yung 1,500
birth certificates.
Fake birth certificates na nakita nga dyan sa may Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. Diba? So right now, before we proceed with our countdown, let's talk more about it, yung mga fake birth certificates na yan.
We have with us Attorney Archie Arbao, Director of NBI Region 11 on the line. Magandang umaga, Attorney.
Magandang umaga po, Sir Angelo and Sir Angela, at sa ating tagapanood at tagapakinig.
Yes, I'd like to ask you po about yung 1,500 na irregular birth certificates na allegedly issued in Davao del Sur. Clarify ko lang po, no, these are not fake but possibly po na yung content niya or yung nilalaman niya ay talagang was manipulated po.
Tama po yun. Yung mga, sir, medyo malakas yung kuhan.
Hello. Yes, attorney.
Sir, nag-e-echo siya.
May echo.
We can hear you clearly po, sir.
Dito sa akin, ma'am, nag-e-echo siya.
Okay, sige. Adjust na lang muna natin yung
Sayang
sir,
kasi maganda yung topic eh. Adjust natin yung line.
Let's fix the line muna kay attorney.
Okay na?
Alright? Can you hear us better now, attorney?
Maganda po. Okay na po.
Okay, yeah. Attorney, balik po tayo sa tanong ko, attorney.
Yes, sir. Totoo po yun na mga authentic na birth certificate or original birth certificate po to. But yung mga content nito ay gawa-gawa lamang, no? Ibig sabihin, na-issue to sa mga Chinese nationals tapos ginawa ng mga Filipino names.
Okay. Tapos, attorney, gusto ko lang itanong, no, kasi most of these certificates were used for other documents po like sa DFA, PSA po. Pag nagkaroon po ng, kasi ang pagtanggap po ng PSA at DFA, at this point kasi ministerial lang, pag in question po ang isang birth certificate na galing sa registrar, ano po ang action na pwedeng gawin po ng receiving agency? Pwede po ba nila i-reject to or mag-request ng investigation sa inyo?
Pwede nilang, sa tingin ko naman, no, Sir Angelo, tulad ng LCR papunta sa PSA, pag sa tingin nilang medyo questionable yung mga dokumento, pwede naman nila sigurong i-hold muna, wag munang i-process and tingnan din nila, no? And pwede nilang hindi tanggapin kung sa tingin nilang ano talaga, kaduda-duda yung mga dokumento.
Attorney, do you have any idea kung sino po talaga yung nagfa-facilitate nitong mga irregular birth certificates na to? Ano po yung mga kasong kakaharapin niya? And yun nga po, any updates on that?
Ma'am Angela, Sir Angelo, nung Monday po, pinatawag kami ng Senado, no? Nagbigay na rin tayo ng update doon. Meron na tayong pangalan sa mga fixtures, no, na nagpa-facilitate dito. Hindi lang natin maibigay ngayon dito sa ano natin para hindi ma-preempt yung investigation at saka yung kasong isasampa na. Identified na rin yung mga kasamahan natin sa gobyerno na nagtatrabaho doon sa LCR Santa Cruz. No, kakasuhan na rin sila. Tinatapos lang namin yung mga documentation o mga legal documents.
Ito po bang mga fixer na nabanggit po ninyo, are they Chinese national or mga Pinoy din po?
Merong mga Chinese national na trace natin. Meron ding Pilipino na nagpa-facilitate, Ma'am Angela.
And ito pong mga sinasabi niyo persons of interest, yung mga iniimbestigahan at kakasuhan, sila po ba yung mga sa umpisa pa lang ay talagang nag-operate na nitong pagbibigay ng fake or regular birth certificates since 2016?
Opo, sila po yung na-identify natin. Unang-una, Ma'am Angela, kung sino yung mga pumirma doon pabalik-balik sa mga questionable birth certificate, yun yung makakasuhan natin.
Right. Opo. And do you think po ba na meron pong malaking sindikato behind all of this?
Opo, sa dami ba naman ito? Since 2015 up to 2023, hindi pa tayo bumaba, Ma'am Angela. Meron pang 2014, 2013, nasa 2015 pa lang tayo, no? Nasa 1,500 na. Sa ganitong kadami, may sindikato talagang dito gumagawa o gumagalaw.
And having said that, attorney, do you think may connection po ito? Possible na connection sa mga higher personalities, politiko, or even the operation po ng Pogo sa bansa?
Siguro yung mga iba dito, Ma'am Angela, nagtatrabaho sa Pogo, no? Kasi na-trace namin na itong mga tao na to na nakaregister dito sa Santa Cruz, hindi man to mga taga-Davao. And meron kaming na-trace na andun din sa Manila. Ang dilema lang namin dito, Ma'am Angela, ang hirap nitong hanapin kasi mga Filipino name na ito, but yung Chinese name nila hindi natin alam kung sino itong mga tao na to. And ang worst pa dito, ma'am, ang worst pa dito is after that na makakuha sila ng birth certificate, pwede na silang bumili ng mga properties and mga armas and ibang identification pa, magnegosyo at iba-iba pa.
Doon po sa 1,501, particularly dito po sa Davao del Sur na mga na-issue na irregular birth certificate, ilang porsyento po doon yung na-trace nyo na?
Siguro yung mga Chinese national po.
Opo.
Kung saan sila. Wala, konti pa lang ma'am, yung to be honest, konti pa lang yung natitrace namin dahil doon lang kami nagbabase sa birth certificate and wala namang nakalagay doon kung saan ito hanapin, saan yung mga address nila.
Right.
Kasi ma'am, ang hirap po, Filipino name yung nakalagay, Chinese itong mga hinahanap
Oo
natin.
nga po, oo.
And walang mga address, no? Ang hirap
Opo.
talaga.
Bukod po dito sa Davao del Sur na talamak nga po yung pagbibigay ng mga fake or irregular birth certificates dyan, may mga nakakita pa rin po ba tayong ibang lugar na maaaring ginagawa rin po ito?
Surely po, ako very positive na meron din ginagawa din ito sa ibang lugar.
Do you have any idea which areas po ito? Meron din po ba dito sa Metro Manila?
Nung hearing namin sa Senado nung nakaraang Lunes lang yon. Meron silang top 10 na binigay na mga may listahan sila sa top 10 na kasali dito, no? Kasali itong Santa Cruz. So ayaw ko lang pangunahan yung Senado dahil hindi man nila sinabi yung lugar, no? But may listahan sila, top 10 ang sinasabi nila.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras at patuloy po kami makikipag-ugnayan sa inyo para po sa update or development po ng isyong ito. For the meantime, maraming salamat po sa inyo, NBI Region 11 Director, Attorney Archie Albao.
Maraming salamat din po, Ma'am Angela, Sir Angelo, sa pagkakataon. Magandang umaga po sa lahat.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Coming back to our third spot is Alice Guo. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has ordered its law department to file a case against the suspended mayor. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia said Guo allegedly misrepresented herself when she ran for mayor of Bamban, Tarlac in the 2022 elections. This is after they confirmed that the fingerprints on her election documents match those of Chinese citizen Guo Huaping. Guo indicated in her certificate of candidacy that she was a Filipina born in Tarlac on July 16, 1986. However, Guo Huaping's documents stated that she is a Chinese citizen born in Fujian, China on August 31, 1990. The suspended mayor of Bamban Tarlac mayor is still hiding from the public.
Inadapt po ng COMELEC and Bank, unanimous, ibig sabihin lahat po kami, yung recommendation ng aming law department na mag-file ng formal complaint laban kay Mayor Alice Guo / Guo Huaping, and therefore pinapasimulan po ang pagkukonduct ng preliminary investigation patungkol sa kanya.
Oo kasi violation yan ng omnibus election.
We were talking about COMELEC I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Tapos at that time ata kasi hindi pa formally i-file at that time, pinag-uusapan pa daw ng COMELEC whether they will file a case. Ngayon, formal na, a case of misrepresentation po ang ipa-file nila. At sinasuggest si Chairman Garcia, pwede rin ibang agency mag-file ng I forgot that case. Aside from misrepresentation. No, there's another case you could file dahil nag-plagiarize and nag-fake ng documents. I don't remember what that is, pero misrepresentation is from COMELEC. Perjury case.
Gumawa din kasi sila ng sarili nilang di ba, yung fact-finding investigation nila. And it turned out nga yung nag-match yung fingerprints dito kay
So that means yung sinulat niya na Filipino citizen sa loob ng application form ng COC is not true. So therefore, she misrepresented herself. All right. Next. Our top story for today is Harry Roque. The former presidential spokesperson and others were placed under the Immigration Lookout Bulletin order for his alleged connection to an illegal pogo hub. Roque called this move a political harassment. Here's the report.
The Department of Justice or DOJ has placed former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque under the Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order or ILBO. This is due to his alleged connection to the illegal Pogo hub Lucky South 99 that was raided in Porac, Pampanga. Recall that Roque was tagged as the legal head of Lucky South, which he previously denied in a Senate hearing. Aside from him, an ILBO was also issued to 11 others, including Lucky South's official representative Cassandra Leong and former TLRC Deputy Director Dennis Cunanan. Under ILBO, authorities will be alerted if Roque and others fly out of the country.
Pinaka-goal dito is to safeguard yung integrity po ng investigation. Ayaw naman po natin na sa gitna ng investigation, bigla na lang silang aalis at hindi natin alam.
Roque insisted that he has no plans to leave the country and he will face the accusations thrown against him. In an interview with The Big Story, Roque called this move a political harassment. He said the government is doing this because of his critical stance against President Bongbong Marcos.
It's plain and simple harassment. Of everyone in that list, I'm the only one who is not a stockholder. I'm the only one who is not an officer of Lucky South. I'm being harassed because I'm a very vocal critic of the president, especially on the issue of drug use.
In response, DOJ begged to differ.
I really don't see where that's coming from dahil 12 naman po yung nakalagay dun sa ILBO. At kung nandun po yung pangalan nyo po and you're part of those being investigated, I don't see any reason why there's a problem or how that could be political harassment.
For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
So kasama dyan, aside from former spokesperson Harry Roque, itong si Cassandra Leong.
Ay, oo.
Oo, ito yung sinasabing authorized representative ng Porac Pogo Hub, yung sinamahan niya supposedly sa PAGCOR, di ba, para yung ayusin yung payment structure. Tapos kasama rin dyan yung former Technology and Livelihood Resource Center or TLRC Deputy Director na si General Dennis Cunanan, and among others. Ito yun yung mga mas kilala natin, naririnig natin ng mga pangalan.
Ongoing saga to kasi we're winding down already our closure of Pogos in the country. And after daw December of this year, next year, abangan pa daw natin mas madaming kaso maglalabasan daw ng mga... Kasi ngayon na binan mo, you're flushing them out eh. They're coming out already in the open little by little. Mas madali na hanapin nila yung mga maliliit na lang natitirang pocket pogos, diba? Kasi may mga pocket hubs na condo lang, apartments, small office spaces na tinitignan nila right now eh.
So itong ILBO na to, yung Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order, as said naman in our report, ay yun nga, para lang to check kung mamonitor lang sila, pero pwede pa rin naman sila umalis ng bansa. Pero ang maganda dito, nakikita naman natin si former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. In fairness to him, ay nandiyan siya para sagutin lahat yung mga issue na pinupukol sa kanya.
Lagi lang
yan ang importante. Tapos uma-attend pa siya ng Senate hearing.
Lagi naman sumasagot si Spokes. Okay, but before all that, thank you for to everyone and Second Mile Coffee for all these goodies.
Sa Bati tomorrow.
I'd like to leave everyone with a quote amid all the fighting, all the gulo in the world. Never forget 3 powerful resources you always have available to you: love, prayer, and forgiveness. A quote by H. Jackson Brown Jr.
Pinapatawad na kita. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunzad-Castro.
And I'm Angelo, kalimutan ko na yun. Angelo Castro III. We are One News. All sides, all the time.